For the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
the United States of America, and to the republic on which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Please be seated. Jared, please take roll.
Ms. Bennett.
Yeah, here.
Mr. Bekowski.
Here.
I apologize. Was that a here for Mr. Bekowski?
Yes, here.
Thank you. Mr. DeMarco.
Here.
Mr. Dewar.
Here.
Ms. Filiaggi.
Here.
Mr. Fatulis. Ms. Hallam. Mr. Klein.
Here.
Mr. Macy. Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus.
Here.
Mr. Palmieri.
Here.
Mr. Palmasina.
Here.
Ms. Pritzio. Mr. Walton. President Katina.
Here.
And with Ms. Hallam here, we now have 14 members present.
Proclamations/certificates. All the proclamations and certificates will be read into the record. 12864-23.
Certificates of recognition presented to the 2023 Shining Star Gala awardees, sponsored by Councilmember Filiaggi.
12865-23.
A proclamation honoring Francis S. Butts on the occasion of her 100th birthday, sponsored by Councilmember Walton.
12866-23.
A proclamation honoring Denise White on the occasion of her 70th birthday, sponsored by Councilmember Walton.
There's no public comment on any of the agenda items. The approval of minutes, any minutes?
No.
None. Presentation of appointments, none. Unfinished business. Committee on Budget and Finance for the second reading, 12852-23.
An ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, establishing the tax levy upon all real property subject to taxation within the limits of Allegheny County for fiscal year 2024, sponsored by Councilmember Palmasina.
Councilmember Palmasina.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Finance Committee met on November 21st and firmly recommended this ordinance. I move for approval.
Second.
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jared, please take a roll call vote.
On the motion to approve, Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Bekowski.
Yes.
Mr. DeMarco.
Yes.
Mr. Dewar.
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi.
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis.
Yes.
Ms. Hallam.
Yes.
Mr. Klein.
Yes.
Mr. Macy. Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus.
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri.
Yes.
Mr. Palmasina.
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio.
Yes.
Mr. Walton.
Yes.
President Katina.
Yes.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill passes.
12857-23.
A resolution of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, adopting a capital budget pursuant to Article 4, Section 2, and Article 7, Section 4 of the Home Rule Charter by setting forth appropriations to pay the expenses for capital expenditures during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, sponsored by Councilmember Palmasina.
Councilmember Palmasina.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Finance Committee met on November 21st and firmly recommended this ordinance. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jared, please take a roll call vote.
On the motion to approve, Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Bekowski.
Yes.
Mr. DeMarco.
Yes.
Mr. Dewar.
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi.
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis.
Yes.
Ms. Hallam.
Yes.
Mr. Klein.
Yes.
Mr. Macy. Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus.
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri.
Yes.
Mr. Palmasina.
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio.
Yes.
Mr. Walton.
Yes.
President Katina.
Yes.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill passes.
12858-23.
A resolution of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, adopting a grants budget, special accounts budget, and agency fund budget by setting forth appropriations to pay said expenses during the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024, sponsored by Councilmember Palmasina.
Councilmember Palmasina.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Budget and Finance Committee met on November 21st and firmly recommended this ordinance. I move for approval.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion, Jared, please take a roll call vote.
On the motion to approve, Ms. Bennett.
Yes.
Mr. Bekowski.
Yes.
Mr. DeMarco.
Yes.
Mr. Dewar.
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi.
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis.
Yes.
Ms. Hallam.
Yes.
Mr. Klein.
Yes.
Mr. Macy. Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus.
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri.
Yes.
Mr. Palmasina.
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio.
Yes.
Mr. Walton.
Yes.
President Katina.
Yes.
Ayes 14, no 0. The bill passes.
This evening, are there any liaison reports?
President Katina, just wanted to, Board of Elections met yesterday at 10 o'clock right here in the Gold Room, and we unanimously voted to approve or certify the results of the 2023 general election. The only thing I wanted to highlight was that I know I had some questions on write-in results. Those have been posted on the website. Additionally, I just wanted to, again, remind folks with mail-in ballots, we actually had a little bit over 1,000 mail-in ballots arrive late this year that were not counted, that were in after the 8 o'clock deadline. So once again, if folks are applying for a mail-in ballot, please, please, please get those in as quickly as possible to make sure your vote is counted. So that's it. Thank you, President Katina.
Yeah, I just have one question about the write-ins, right? So I did find them, thank you. I've
You're
been
welcome.
waiting for that, thank you. So is there something else, is there another step in the process that needs to happen? I know it says they're like unofficial, is it because they haven't accepted them
Yes.
yet? Is that the only thing missing?
So,
Gotcha.
Once for the positions, once they have accepted, they will, if they accept, they will be sent the same thing, the certificate of you have been elected official once they accept that process.
Gotcha.
in that process.
And thank you for your service on the
welcome.
Board of Elections.
Anyone else this evening? Seeing no one else, we'll move on to new business ordinances and resolutions. 12867-23.
An ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, amending the Administrative Code of Allegheny County, Article 301, entitled County Council, Section 5-301.09, entitled Compensation and Expenses, in order to eliminate reference to the prohibition on members of council receiving salaries that formerly existed in the Home Rule Charter of Allegheny County, sponsored by Councilmember Dewar.
I believe that Mr. Dewar would like to seek a waiver of the second reading of the bill. Mr. Dewar?
I would. I would like to move to waive the second reading on this ordinance. I had sent, very quickly, I had sent an email about doing this. All this bill would do is to bring the administrative codes language in line with the new language that the voters adopt in the charter in regard to the change from a stipend to a salary for the ballot referendum question that this body put on a few months ago. So we did the same, if folks recall, for those who were here, we did the same thing for the resign to run ballot referendum. We had to change the administrative code language following that ballot referendum as well. So just trying to get this, adopt this as quickly as possible. When Jared and I spoke about it, we wanted to wait until after the election was officially certified. And this morning, everyone should have also gotten the certification for that ballot referendum sent to them via email as well. So I would like to make the motion to waive the second reading on this bill.
Motion has been made and seconded. We need a 2/3 vote. Go ahead, Jared.
On the motion to waive the second reading, Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Betkowski?
Yes.
Mr. DeMarco?
Yes.
Mr. Dewar?
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi?
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis?
Yes.
Ms. Hallam?
No.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Macy? Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Palmasina?
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio?
Yes.
Mr. Walton?
Yes.
President Katina?
Yes.
Ayes 13, with 1 no. The motion to waive the second reading passes.
Now that we waived the second reading, now we need the motion to approve the actual bill. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the bill itself? Hearing none, Jared, please take a roll call vote.
On the motion to approve, Ms. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Betkowski?
Yes.
Mr. DeMarco?
Yes.
Mr. Dewar?
Yes.
Ms. Filiaggi?
Yes.
Mr. Fatulis? Ms. Hallam?
No.
Mr. Klein?
Yes.
Mr. Macy? Ms. Nacarati-Chapkus?
Yes.
Mr. Palmieri?
Yes.
Mr. Palmasina?
Yes.
Ms. Pritzio?
Yes.
Mr. Walton?
Yes.
President Katina?
Yes.
Ayes 13, with 1 no. The bill passes.
12868-23.
An ordinance approving the sale of the county's interest in a 3 taxing bodies parcel of property located in Glen Avenue, Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania 15137, identified as Block and Lot 0232J155, for the sale price of $400 to Mr. Neil Straub, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to the Committee on Economic Development and Housing. 12869-23.
An ordinance of the County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, authorizing the conveyance of a 0.88 acre parcel of land owned by Allegheny County that is presently part of the county's White Oak Park in exchange for the acceptance of a conveyance of a 0.89 acre parcel of land owned by A. Keith Staso, trustee of the A. Keith Staso Revocable Trust Agreement that is contiguous to White Oak Park, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to the Committee on Parks. 12870-23.
A resolution providing for a program of temporary exemption from county real property taxes for improvements, including repairs, construction, or reconstruction made on industrial, commercial, or business property in a deteriorated area of the city of Pittsburgh, County of Allegheny, Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania pursuant to the Local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Act, sponsored by the Chief Executive.
That will go to the Committee on Economic Development and Housing. New business, we have none. Notification of contracts, none. Public comment on general items.
We have 3. First up is Annette Kroll.
Hello, everybody. I'm here on, unfortunately, I have to say it, the worst service with Pittsburgh Regional Transit since I've been riding these buses for 38 years. The past 3 years have made my life difficult as someone who does not have the privilege of driving. I live at the end of the line in Bridgeville. They're planning on cutting the bus that comes up my way, the Bower Hill bus, in February without any notice to any of us who ride the bus, everything done in secret. There's been buses who are shorting the line where they don't even come all the way into Bridgeville. If nobody is on the bus on Bower Hill before it would turn onto Railroad Street, it goes back to the garage. And this has gone on for years, but it has gotten worse in the past 3 years. Back in May, when I was waiting for the 31 up at Great Southern Shopping Center to go back into Bridgeville and go home, the bus did not show up because the driver had to go back to the garage because he didn't want to be late for his next run. So he drove by me and went back to the garage, which was like 2 minutes from the stop I was at. And that's because of Catherine Kellerman's bonus, because she gets on the drivers because her bonus is based on them having on-time service. So it took me 3 hours to get home that night because of him going back to the garage because he had to be on time for his next trip. When you call customer service, they tell you lies. Even supervisors, when they eliminated being able to ride around from Wood Street, 6th Avenue to Smithfield Street, and you can't get on there, I called and asked to speak to a supervisor. Oh, no, that's not true. That is true. That was a lie by a supervisor. They told me a lie why it stopped looping on to 6th Avenue. They said it was because the people can connect with the East Busway. That wasn't the reason. I was told when I wanted to file a complaint against the CEO, I wasn't allowed to do that. I can only file complaints against the drivers. Why? If she's the management and service has continually gotten worse.
Go ahead. You can keep going. You still have time.
Okay, I do. And I would like to also discuss the bag issue, too. I tried to ask yesterday if I could add that on, but I'm someone that works. I feel the past 3 years I've been made to be a shut-in. I can't get to doctor's appointments. It takes me 2 hours. I got to catch a bus sooner than I would need to make sure I'm not late for an appointment. I mean, it's on and on and on. And I've called every level of government. Everyone wants to pass up. Well, you need to contact the Port Authority. I've done that. I put in numerous complaints in the past 3 years, more than I have in my entire life of riding the bus. She needs to go, and so does that board, because nobody cares about the people in the suburbs who ride the bus. Because we're at the end of the line, of course there's going to be less people on the bus. But when you have drivers who are shorting the routes and the bus doesn't get to you where you're getting on the bus to go home, obviously, and that's why a lot of people are reluctant. I go out less in the evenings because of that. I don't want to be stuck. It's too hard to catch an Uber everywhere when you're on a certain limit.
Yeah, we have your information. We'll be in contact with you.
Okay.
I'm familiar with the area.
Okay, well, I can give you a lot more examples about it.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with the area, and I'm familiar with some of the issues that occur out there, unfortunately. So
Okay.
we'll be reaching out to you. So give us
Okay.
probably tomorrow.
All right, can I speak on the bag issue?
Real quick.
Okay, plastic bags, I use them for other things, so it's a lie calling them single use. When you're waiting for a bus, paper bags do not do you any good. And as someone who doesn't have driving privilege, I don't have the ability to leave bags in my car or whatever. The paper bags fall apart when you're out in the rain, a half hour waiting for a bus or an hour. The plastic bags, I use them like this to carry my bottled water in my tote bag so it doesn't sweat. I use them to line my garbage cans in the bathroom. When I go away on vacation, I use them to separate clean and dirty clothes. When I'm at the bus stop, if it's raining, I may sit on a plastic bag if the bench is wet, if there happens to be a bench. So I think this is a tax on the people who do not have driving privilege, people with disabilities, and it's a sneaky tax, and I think it should not go into effect.
Thank you.
Next up is Rachel Nunes.
Hello, my name is Rachel Nunes, N-U-N-E-S. I'm the Executive Director of the Thomas Merton Center. We're a peace and justice organization that has been in operation for 50 years in Pittsburgh. And today I want to talk about what's at stake if you all, the City Council, and the Mayor's Office don't act now and move forward with plans for serviced homeless campsites, particularly the impacts prolonged exposure to cold weather will have on our unhoused neighbors' health. These facts are easily found with a simple Google search. Effects on the body. Freezing temperatures can slow your blood circulation, heighten the body's sensitivity to pain, and cause muscle spasms. Cold stress can lead to serious conditions such as hypothermia, frostbite, and trench foot. More on hypothermia later. Heart attacks and strokes increase in frequency during the winter months, usually affecting those who already have an underlying health problem. A drop in temperature concentrates blood flow in the body core, increasing blood pressure, so placing more strain on the heart. Also, your body works harder to generate additional heat when it is cold. It has been reported colder weather makes blood vessels constrict, which can increase blood pressure and blood clotting, another major risk for stroke. How it affects the brain and emotional state. Cold weather can make you feel tired, have difficulty sleeping, have a poor appetite, and so you lose weight, fatigue, confusion, disorientation, excessive shivering, and loss of coordination. It can lead to people feeling even more depressed and anxious. Low body temperature due to cold environments can cause unclear thinking, limited body movement, which could spur confused thoughts or irregular responses. Prolonged exposure to cold will eventually use up your body's stored energy. The result is hypothermia. Body temperature that is too low affects the brain, making the victim unable to think clearly or move well. This makes hypothermia particularly dangerous because a person may not even know it is happening and won't be able to do anything about it. Hypothermia is most likely at very cold temperatures, yes, but it can occur even at cool temperatures, even above 40 degrees Fahrenheit, if a person becomes chilled from rain, sweat, or submersion in cold water. I'm not exaggerating. People will die if this body, the mayor's office, and the city don't act together now. People's bodies will, at the very least, be forever changed, making their lives even more difficult, making recuperating from being homeless an even steeper climb. To wrap it up, no more camp evictions. Provide for our neighbors now. Thank you.
And last up is Sam Schmidt.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Schmidt. I'm a resident of Bellevue in Allegheny County. I'm also an activist and an outreach worker. I work with our unhoused population here in Pittsburgh almost on a daily basis. And I'm here to piggyback on what Rachel just said and ask you to support City Council's proposed bill. It's number 2023-2197, and that's the zoning amendment to help us establish these temporary city-maintained homeless shelters, which are, in this case, heated tents with some proposed services. So yeah, I really, really need you to work together with City Council on this and with the mayor's office. I know there's going to be some pushback, and to be very clear, the long-term solution to this issue is affordable housing for all, period. But we're not there. So in the meantime, Rachel and I and other outreach workers in the city are losing people and losing limbs because it's cold, and trench foot is a real thing, even in these temperatures. So I just want you all to think about that, think about maybe the amount of money that we could save in healthcare costs for one, but also, arbitrary arrests and ACJ operations, all of those things that happen to unhoused people. We can avoid all those costs and actually save money by getting these people into more stable shelter. I've looked over zoning areas with City Council, and there are sites where we can do this. So it's possible. It just takes that funding to come together with that legislation, and I think collectively that we can do it. Let me think, what else do I want to say? I have like a whole minute left. So yeah, I'll just come back to the tents as proposed. We really need your support on both this bill and the ones that will follow. But City Council members did reach out to outreach workers to get in touch with the encampments and figure out exactly what folks need to be safe, to be stable, to be set up for success. So we have worked together with them on that. And while there's still a lot of work to be done with that bill, if we get the funding there, I promise you, I will follow through. and we will make this a reality, and we will improve it, and we will continue to improve it, and we will get people into shelter. The alternative to that is literally, as Rachel just mentioned, we are going to lose lives. Like, sadly, people are already hospitalized every week. We now have a medical team on the street every week giving care. A doctor is out there with us, volunteering her time to help take care of these folks because legislatively we are failing. So, yep, that's it. Just thank you so much for your time, and please, please consider working together with City Council to get this legislation passed. Thank you.
Thank you. Before we adjourn this evening, I'd like to take a moment to recognize somebody. This individual's been with the county now for 45 years, and his last day is coming up on Friday. He's going off into retirement. So thank you for your service for 45 years, County Solicitor George Janosko. Stand up. We wish you well in your retirement. You deserve it for 45 years. So thank you for your service to Allegheny County. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. And congratulations again, George.